Welcome to Monday Night Football, where Soccertown, USA comes to you. Yes, that is the catch slogan that we will be introducing every show, and Todd will be delivering it next week. Just as we're about to deliver some scores on this Off the Link scoreboard.
Dude, let's get it going. Well, right off the bat, we'll hit the scoreboard this week. All right, boys scoreboard. Dalton Academy 3-1 over Darlington. Cahulla Creek 7 over Lafayette. Christian Heritage falls to Atlanta Classical. Dalton Northwest, that's Soccer City Cup 2-2. Split the points. Southeast 2 over Cass. Murray County drops a close one to Fannin 2-1. Dalton Academy 10-0 winners over Temple. Dalton 3-0 over Calhoun. Was that 3-0 or 4-0?
4-0.
4, I think it was a 4-0
Yeah, it was a
line.
typo on my part. 4-0.
All right, Northwest drops one to River Ridge 5-0.
And then on the girls' side, Dalton Academy, I think it was 1-0 because I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a forfeit. So 1-0, Darlington. North Murray, Cedartown was a forfeit as well. Cedartown winning. Christian Heritage losing 3-1 to Atlanta Classical. You know, play that little music, violin. Cahulla, I'm putting 10 on Lafayette. I don't know if they're going to put 10 on Dalton today, but we'll see. Dalton losing to Northwest 1-0.
We'll get to that.
Yeah, Murray County losing to Fannin 1-3. Dalton Academy actually losing to Temple 10-0. Cahulla Creek with a 9-1 win over Ridgeland. Dalton coming back with a 4-0 win over Calhoun. I heard he got a little chippy in that game. And then, wow, Northwest losing big to River Ridge 7-0.
Yeah, coming off that emotional win over Dalton. Yeah, you never know how that's gonna play out. Also, we are gonna talk Soccer City Cup. We're gonna go a little bit in depth about the Northwest Dalton games, and also I was able to make it up to Creek and Ridgeland. So we got some interviews coming your way.
Okay.
Before we get too far into this, though, I want to recognize I have my first fan photo. Put it up there. All right, this is Jacob Alvarez. He goes to Varnell Elementary, and he plays for NGSA Academy.
Varnell or Varinell?
Hey, it's however I write it. Okay.
And he looks a little scared of you. He's like,
Look, if you're having your picture made of that guy, you'd be scared too. So big shout out to Jacob. He was up at Cahulla Creek. So my only fan photo request at this point. So also coming up in this show, we have an interview coming up in the next segment with Dalton State coach Saif Al-Safir. He'll be joining us. He coaches both the men's and women's program.
double duty.
Double duty. That's a... Him and Issa, they could talk.
They could talk all day about dope. Like, man, I don't know how they do it. Time management skills must be very well maintained for that.
So also, we had an issue last week. We had North Murray, which is a much anticipated rivalry that we always like to cover. That game was canceled due to no referees. Now, I hate to go on my tangent about this, but you know where this is going. There's a reason there's a referee shortage, and it's not because of pay, because if you want a good job and you want to go make a couple of bills for refereeing 2 games, then get after it. Go get certified to referee. But I'm hearing it over and over again. These referees are abused by parents at these school games. So,
all you gotta do is go sit in the stands for a couple of games, and they'll start. The ones that don't know soccer are the ones that really get into it. If you're someone that really knows and understands a game, you're going to understand some of the nuances and how they ebb and flow, like the hard tackles. That's just the name of the game. The shoulders, name of the game. Now, there's some other stuff that go out, extracurriculars, that is where it goes out. So it's just,
the bottom line is whether you're playing on the field or in the stands, respect the referees, or else we're not going to have any referees and we're not going to have any games.
Correct. And with that, we got to go to commercial break, but we'll come back. We'll have the head coach of Dalton State men's and women's Roadrunners.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? Open up a world of possibilities when you sell your home and make those dreams real. At ColdwellBanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home, compare cost of living city by city, and learn more about our revolutionary seller's assurance program. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams. At ColdwellBanker.com.
Who's up for some football?
That's not football. This is football.
And Eddie, there's one thing that we all can agree on.
That's it. North Georgia is the home for new and pre-owned vehicles.
And don't forget accessories, parts, service, and collision needs.
Claro que sí se puede. Come see us.
Hey, that's our part.
Why should you choose OptiLink Internet?
I chose OptiLink because of the great local service.
We know computers, and OptiLink knows internet with high-speed symmetrical uploads and downloads.
My customers depend on me for safety and security, and I need fast and dependable internet. That's why I chose OptiLink.
Some people say you can't have fast internet. I say, oh yes you can with OptiLink.
Experience the difference. Call today, 706-529-1313.
I'm Waylon. I live in Dalton, and I'm the owner of Elite Lineman Training Institute.
And I'm Mitch Sanford with Bitwell Bank.
When I left Georgia Power to start my own business, I met with Mitch and told him what we were doing.
I told Waylon, you're the kind of business we want to work with.
We have a very high standard for how we work as a company and especially how we treat our clients. After a very candid conversation with Mitch, we knew we were on the same page.
Today, we're working on several businesses, training and real estate.
Because they do the heavy lifting, so I can focus on my business. My bank is built well.
Hey, welcome back to Monday Night Football. It is an honor to be joined by Dalton State College head coach for both men's and women's, Doctor. Are you doctor? Do you have your doctor by any chance?
Not yet.
Coach Saif Al-Safir. Coach, thanks for coming on and having a chance to talk with us. Let's just get right off to it. Like, how did you get started playing soccer?
Yeah, probably like most. I would say that it's in the blood. So it's probably in the blood of most of the ones that start around here as well. But yeah, I started playing when I was 4. It's basically with a Middle Eastern background. I'm from Palestine.
Okay.
So it's kind of what we do. So yeah, I started playing when I was 4 and just never really stopped.
All right, and so when did you come over to the States? How old were you then?
I was very young, 1 year old, and I went back in 2005 when I was 16 for a period of time, which was really nice to immerse into the culture, really nail down the language and, learn all kinds of things, see my home and things like that.
I was just wondering if you kind of grew up playing soccer and got here at like 10 years old and
No.
went through what we went through growing up around here. It's like, oh, you play soccer? And like, no.
Right.
We were basically like rejected and like 25, 30 years ago for playing soccer.
So where did you grow up? You say you started at 4, so where did you grow up playing?
So I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's where I played most of the time, and when I went off to college, I went to Tampa, but I grew up playing in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, Jordan. Rui Alvarez's wife, she's from Jacksonville.
That's right.
Her dad's a big soccer coach down there.
That's right.
So Jordan, giving you a
shout
shout out.
Shout out to Jordan and Rory. Yeah.
So what was your so talking about that? So what was your recruiting like? Or were you looking to get recruited out of college, or and things like that?
Yeah, the recruiting scene was, so different, back then. Now you have email and you have YouTube links and Instagram and.
Were you putting together like sweet VHS tapes and like splicing them together?
Yeah, the
it
technology.
probably was DVD, CDs back then.
That's true.
They did have DVDs, and the technology was so limited. Sometimes we didn't have game film or not, and it depended on kind of where you went as well. But I think a lot more coaches were, coaches would be present. You would have limited times, kind of like now, where maybe you'd go to a showcase or something, and that was your time. So playing club ball was really, I think, important in that sense. Sometimes we got coaches to our high school games, probably more so then than you do now. Because of the limited abilities of being able to get your film and stuff out back then. So it was definitely different. But you find ways, and everybody I think that wanted to play kind of found a way to try and get it done.
Where did you end up? What school did you end up playing at?
So I actually ended up working for a few years out of high school, and I went back to college in 2009, and I went to Florida College, which is a small private Christian school in Tampa, and that's where I played. And that's actually where I got my first coaching opportunity as well.
I have an interesting question. Do you think that being a few years removed from high school before you went back to college and played, did that give you a different perspective on being able to play in college?
I think it definitely gave me a different perspective. I'm not sure, if I could do it again, I'm not sure I would do it that way. You never regret anything, but you look back and you say, maybe you do things a little bit differently. But yeah, I think obviously, going to college and having the perspective of being out in the work world and saying, okay, I've figured out a little bit of what that's like, how much money I can make, et cetera, but I really wanted something more, and I didn't want a ceiling, and I think that what I was finding was not having a college degree was really putting a ceiling over my head, and I didn't want that, so I wanted to get a college degree so that then that ceiling could go higher, and then I would get my master's degree so that ceiling could go higher, and I think that's probably the big takeaway for people with education is expand the ceiling with education.
So with you, you mentioned you got your bachelor's, then you got your master's. So for you, college, was it more to get that degree, or were you looking to try to play somewhat professionally after college? And if you did you try to pursue those avenues?
I ended up playing in the NPSL and the NPSL Pro back when NPSL.
Oh, that's no, the NPSL's. Well, I mean, it still is, but it was just absolutely wild. But that's where you went.
The NPSL was unbelievable, and I played with the Tampa Marauders.
Okay.
And I didn't think I was going to get a chance to play, so I went to school, and of course I would have liked to play. I wasn't sure that I would get the chance because I was older. And I think that's another misnomer too. You can still play. I graduated at 26 and still had opportunities to play at the next level. But anyway, I didn't think I'd get a chance to play. And going to college was really like, can I expand that ceiling? Can I expand my opportunities in life? And then when the opportunity came where there was some interest on what I might be able to do next, that's where the opportunity came to like, maybe I'll play now.
Right, and so you play, and then so how did you transition from playing to coaching? Were you always coaching a little bit on the side, so it was an easy transition, or did you just kind of like, hey, I'm done playing, now it's time to coach?
I was not coaching, and I actually wasn't very interested in coaching soccer really. So it's kind of funny how it all kind of happened. Yeah, it wasn't really.
That's really life. That's life.
That's life, right? So you just go with it. So that wasn't really my goal, but I think that being able to play. Was an opportunity to continue to play, and then it was like, well, how am I going to make up the money that I'm not making? So I became the assistant coach at the college that I went to, and there was an opportunity to do that. So I did that whilst I was playing in the NPSL, and that kind of put it together for me, and I was able to make enough money to support myself at the time.
So Florida College was your first coaching job then?
Yes.
And then that transitioned to Dalton State, or was there other stops in between? So, or how did you get here to Dalton?
So the story of Florida College was basically 1 year as an assistant coach, 1 season assistant coach. My head coach ended up going to LaGrange to coach. So then I got the opportunity to coach at Florida College as the head coach. So I did that for 5 years. We did that in a small college association for 3 years, I believe, 4 years, and then 1 year, 3 years, and then 1 year in the NAIA unaffiliated, and then 1 year in the NAIA SSAC, which we're in now. Right. So Dalton State was in that league. I didn't know much about Dalton State at the time. I knew a little bit, but Dalton State was in the SSAC as well, and so we played. And the first time we played, we won, and then they came back and they beat us in the quarterfinal of the conference tournament. So that's kind of how I knew about Dalton State. And Florida College, of course, was a great opportunity for me and a great start. And it was a love for me. I went to school there. I met my wife there. I even became a Christian at Florida College. But we had the opportunity to interview at Dalton State, and my boss called me and said, listen, I think, he told me a little bit about the community, about how unique it is here, and it is very unique. So he said, I think that's worth a look. So yeah, we kind of jumped from there.
All right, and so we're going to pick up right here on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
We provide an excellent service for individuals who've had catastrophic injury cases, people who've had injuries that are going to last them, unfortunately, for the rest of their life. Being there for a person, being there to actually see them get better, that is what this field is all about. That's what we're really striving to do, and that's what we think we provide. You still have to have that empathy for the person so you can tell their story to the jury. At the end of the day, that's where your case is heard.
Has a recent storm damaged the roof of your home? Altman Roofing has been restoring homes since 1984. In Dalton alone, over 2,000 roofs have been replaced by Altman. Altman Roofing will also work with your insurance claim. For a free 15-minute estimate for roofing, siding, or gutters, call 706-529-8136 or visit altmanroofing.com. You can also see their professional work on Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you, North Georgia.
Gracias, North Georgia.
We appreciate you, North Georgia.
I'm C-Mark. I'm John Moore. Like the Georgia Bulldogs, we're number one.
Thank you, North Georgia, for voting us number one 6 years in a row.
If you're hurt and want the best,
Give us a call. We'll do the rest.
Yeah, welcome back to Monday Night Football. As mentioned, we have here Coach Saif Al-Safir from Dalton State College. And Coach, right there before break, you were talking about how you got up here and then they talked to you about the culture, or you knew a little bit about the Dalton State soccer culture. Now, were you aware of what we call the hotbed of talent that's located within the Whitfield-Murray County area when you first got here?
I was told that there was a lot of soccer in the area. I was told that people were very passionate about soccer.
But you and I both know, right, that having a lot of soccer in the area does not equate to having a lot of quality soccer in the area.
Correct. So I knew a couple things. I knew to be on the lookout, but I wasn't expecting everything, the talent and just the depth of interest that is around here. Even the parks that we have, the amount of fields that we have. I had no idea that this is really what we were walking into. So it was very, very interesting and very unique. I have to say, unbelievably unique.
And you have a couple of local products on your team too, which we'll discuss a little bit more, but I know one of your favorites out there at Creek.
Sorry.
Jaime.
Yeah. And you know, that whole family runs deep with talent. And,
right.
And so his little brother, of course, Tony, he got his own state championship last year.
Right.
So, that was nice to be able to follow them and that family. So it's really cool.
But talk about state championships, let's just transition that. What is your step into getting Dalton to get a national championship? You've been very competitive. You've been ranked number one.
No, now you've transitioned to a perennial top 5 program. I mean, let's call it what it is. So that's a pretty incredible ride.
It's been unbelievable. It's off the very good work of our staff and our players. I'm just telling you, we have unbelievable people that we work with. They're very talented. They're very good people. So, thank God for them. But I think that in terms of the next step, like you said, we're right there. So the first immediate thing that comes to mind is a bit of perseverance. We got to just keep going. Sometimes in life, and it could just be with the football, but sometimes in life people get close to something and they kind of keep maybe hitting what they feel like is a ceiling and they quit. I think we need to continue to persevere. We're right there. We need to keep going. And then I think, frankly speaking, the other thing we need maybe a little bit of luck. We went out in the quarterfinal on penalties and sudden death penalties. And anytime you get to a knockout phase, sometimes you need some things to go for you. And some days they do and some days they don't. But I think we're right there.
Well, to give you a little bit of history, the Dalton area does not fare very well in PKs, shootouts.
We like to stay away from PKs.
We've been known to lose quite a few championships in PKs. Southeast lost one, and to Southwest Cap, to Alex Kahn, former Atlanta United goalkeeper, and then Dalton's got put out a couple of runs. So maybe it's just a Dalton thing, but we do not like PKs.
I'd just rather not go to PKs if it's all the same.
Yeah, I agree.
So I want to touch base just a little bit. We talked about the success you've had, but let's talk about the players that you just recently put out into the pro ranks.
Right.
How many out of this class did I see that got signed pro contracts?
Out of this class, I believe it was 5 out of this class.
That's pretty incredible. Let's just call it what it is. To have 5 players walk out of their senior years and then go get offered pro contracts, that's an amazing opportunity.
It really is a little bit unbelievable when I talk to a lot of people, and especially if I'm talking to kind of players, and they'll say, and even agents trying to send players to school and stuff like that. Agencies, they'll say, it's hard to find any program across any division that sent 5 players and 1 recruiting class to the pro level. And we're like, we've worked really hard. It's been a process.
Right.
It's been in the making. I would say since really year 1, but year 2 since I've been here to push people to the pro path.
Well, to that, there may be certain leagues that may think they have coined the phrase path to pro, but I don't care if it's MLS Next Pro, I don't care if it's USL. College is also a path to pro in this country, and it will remain as such for the foreseeable future. So if you're thinking like, oh, I want to play pro, well, guess what? You can go right here to a community college that is accessible, that is close to home, that is affordable, and you can have a shot at the next level. I mean, that's just the bottom line.
And we're a 4-year college now.
Yes. I'm a former Roadrunner myself, alumni.
I'm a 2-year. Yeah, I got my associates and I transferred out. So is the recruiting, has the recruiting process gotten easier for you with Stature, Dalton State? Because I know y'all go all across. Y'all go down to Florida. I think you had guys from South Florida last year, year before. He was a captain. I can't think of his name right now. Yes. Then also you can hear. So how does that look for you? Like, when are you starting to get people on the radar and to say, hey, we want to start bringing them into Dalton State?
Yeah, I think that recruiting, it has become easier in some ways, and in some ways it's become harder because as you continue to have success, then your standards of what has to be met immediately continues to rise. So in some ways easier, some ways harder. But I think in terms of the local scene, I think we've been really fortunate, obviously, to be able to have some very talented people in the area. I think our women's team had a great season last year. They did so well, and that was off the backs and the really good work of several.
Is it a third local area on the girls team? I feel like there's quite a few girls on there.
There are, and they've done.
Brooke Alvarez.
Yeah, they've done an unbelievable job. I mean,
Leslie Alanis.
Yeah, you could go down the list of some. You know, Brooke and Fernanda have been there for years, and they've been staples of building the program. And they're reaping the benefits. And there were a lot of good work that was done in the first couple years of girls that were come out of Dalton that, maybe didn't get the benefit of getting the fruits of the labor, but they started that labor. So yeah, I mean, in terms of the local products, we've been very fortunate of what we've been able to get.
Can you, if you could, just lay down maybe some tips for people who are looking to get recruited, looking to play in college? Like, when should that process start, in your opinion?
I think that process. If someone emails me as a junior, there's no question that we're going to have some dialogue. If someone emails me as a sophomore and they look like a prospect, I'll even talk to them as a sophomore. But I think the big thing for people is to just try and be intentional and try and have a plan. So there's nothing wrong with starting early. I think the question is, are you just starting early just because someone told you to start early? Right. Or are you thinking, hey, here's what I'm going to do in my sophomore year. I'm going to just try and get on the radar and allow people to know my name, maybe go to a camp, send a few emails. And then my junior year, I'm going to be more intentional with following up with, here's the degree that I'm interested in. Here's why I think your school and your location is interesting to me. And then by the time you get to your senior year, if you've done the right things and you've been intentional about showing your interest, you're on the recruiting board already. Yep. I mean, I have sophomores on my recruiting board. So you can get on the recruiting board early, and if you stay persistent, then you can remain on that recruiting board, and you might just start to move higher up the list. But I think people need to be as intentional as possible. Try and put yourself out there in the best light that you can, and see how things go from there.
All right, we want to thank Coach Saif Al-Safir for coming on the show. He is the head coach at Dalton State College, now perennial top 5 team in NAI on the men's side and an up-and-coming women's side. So get out and support them when they start playing again in the fall. And Coach, thanks for coming on. We appreciate
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Stay tuned.
My car looks totally ruined. I don't even know what to do.
Locally owned Dalton Collision Center is the only choice when it comes to all of your auto body and refinish needs. Our experienced staff provides quality work from start to finish, will help with your claim, and even assist with getting your rental car. Everything from A to Z.
So you can focus on life, we can focus on getting you there.
We provide an excellent service for individuals who've had catastrophic injury cases. people who've had injuries that are going to last them, unfortunately, for the rest of their life. Being there for a person, being there to actually see them get better, that is what this field is all about. That's what we're really striving to do, and that's what we think we provide. You still have to have that empathy for the person so you can tell their story to the jury. At the end of the day, that's where your case is heard.
This year, Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty is proudly commemorating our 50th anniversary, and what a journey it has been. For 5 decades, Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty has been the heartbeat of real estate in Northwest Georgia.
We've had the privilege of helping thousands of homeowners with their real estate transactions. Thank you, Dalton and Northwest Georgia.
Whether you're buying, selling, or expanding your business, trust the experience that comes with 50 years of excellence. Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty with offices in Dalton, Calhoun, Cartersville, Ringgold, and Cleveland, Tennessee.
Hey, welcome back to Monday Night Football. Once again, a big special thank you to Coach Saif Al-Safir, Dalton State College head women's and men's coach. Man, the guys just built an impressive program over there. And it's great to be able to have local players to go in over there.
It really is. Obviously, we have quite a few on the girls' side and a few on the boys' side.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, Todd, let's get into this Soccer City Cup that we had last week. We had
you and I got to go there. Georgia Tacos was there.
Georgia Tacos
My
was
wife
there.
is starting to think that I stalk Georgia Tacos. May or may not be true.
We had the Soccer Down South crew was there. They called both the boys and girls
and
game.
I made sure they got some tacos.
They got some tacos. So
let's go with the girls. Let's kick it off.
I was
there the last 30 minutes.
We discussed that the girls' game was a toss-up. It was evenly battled the whole match. I missed the goal.
I did not.
Because Coach Almodova's wife thought it was going to rain, and she needed her umbrella. So I left.
Chivalry is not dead.
So I left to go get her umbrella, and while I was gone, this goal was scored. So I don't know what happened.
Well, it was a nice a ball. Got centered to Merrill Clark, and she's not going to miss from the 6. So she buried it 1-0. She also had another chance, probably about 5-10 minutes later, to really put it away, and had the header bounce just wide. But I think tactically you're right. In the last, and then in the last 5 minutes or so, Dalton really turned up the heat. Northwest had to weather the storm. But overall, from what I can gather before I got there and what I saw during it really was a tactically and from a talent standpoint, very even match.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it could go one way or the other, and we knew it was going to go one way or the other. The ideal situation would have been a tie. It didn't happen. But I know you were able to catch up with the game-winning scorer, right?
Yep, got Merrill Clark. She was kind enough to chat with us after the game.
Hey, this is Todd with Monday Night Football. I'm out here at Harmon Field just after the Northwest girls win over Dalton High. They come out 1-0 win. I'm here with goal scorer Merrill Clark. Merrill, talk me through the game. I know it's always a big rivalry when you guys play, and it means something a little more each year. So just tell me a little about the game.
Yeah, so it was definitely a tough game starting off. We kept pushing, but it's always super competitive with Dalton. And at the end, we had about 20 minutes left, and we just pushed and kept pushing through the game. And my teammate Sophia Ortiz found me, and it was just a goal. And then we held them for the last 20 minutes and just continued to push through the game. And yeah, they brought a little bit of pressure in the last couple of minutes there. Did you feel the nerves? Could you guys feel the nerves, or what was going through your head? Yes, could definitely feel the nerves, but you got to stay confident throughout the game and just trust your teammates, trust the defense. And that's what we did. And we just continued to push through.
Merrill, thank you so much for taking some time with us. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hey, big thank you to Merrill Clark for that interview for us. And, she's right. It's always a big game between those two. And, like I said, like you were saying, we knew it was going to be a tight game. Northwest just got ahead, got the full 3 points. That's significant, obviously, because of Soccer City Cup. And we can pull up the girls' Soccer City Cup standings if we can do that. Don't know if we got those ready to go or not. But anyway, that puts Northwest, they kind of got a little bit of a stranglehold at the top right now. And then we'll hold off on that interview. There we go. Yeah. The girls. Hey, Juan, move your head. So we got, hey, look at that. Northwest.
Northwest is up with a game in hand.
Clemency is trying to get us off the
Yes.
set. Northwest with a +10 goal differential, sitting on 6 points with 2 wins. Southeast with a +7 in a good position. Northwest they got that game in hand. Southeast does, and they're sitting on 3 points. Dalton sitting at 0-1, just that one game, and then Coahulla Creek at the bottom. So.
And that led into the boys match, which let's just be honest.
Did you have a draw on your bingo
I did not
card?
have a draw. I don't think you had a draw. If you want to say, honestly, we were looking at in reverse, saying that probably in Dalton 3-0 or 3-1.
What was the preseason score? 4-0?
3-0 or 4-0 in the preseason.
And it is important to remember, Coach Gutierrez was not there for the preseason game. He was busy welcoming in the newest member of his family. So he wasn't there for that. But for this game, I mean, was there something that stood out to you? You sit there and watch the game.
I sat there and watched the game. I think you observed it, the way he was pinching the wings from the on the back for the defensive. He didn't really let them play through the middle because obviously they're loaded in the middle, Dalton is. So he made them pretty much play direct, and they were able to keep up. I mean, there was some build-up. So I think if you want to go back, look at the blueprint. I think that is a blueprint for that. We're about to go to commercial break, but I know you got an interview with Matthew Molina, right?
Yeah, just a stalwart all night. He really had a good game, so let's go to that interview.
Hey, this is Todd with Monday Night Football. I'm out here at Harmon Field just after Northwest pulls off the draw with Dalton. You guys end up 2-2. I'm here with Matt Molina. Matt, just talk us through the game a little bit, like what your game plan was and just how you saw the game.
Our game plan was just stay in the game, It's dying, they have a good team, even with their loss of players. Just staying composed and try to attack as best as we can.
This is, if I recall, this is your best result against Dalton in your 4 years. You're a senior this year.
Yeah.
Does it feel good to get a result against them in Soccer City Cup? You guys get a point out of this game tonight?
Yeah, it does feel good. We had a couple of bad losses over my ears, and I feel like this one felt really good.
So speaking of losses, you guys come off 2 tough losses to East Hall on Friday, and then turn on Saturday to Carrollton. You guys show a lot of character tonight and bounce back. Is that just who this team is?
Yeah, I think this team has a lot of young people on our team, and we just try to encourage them and just bring the team up. Our coach talked to us after the games, and he said that we just got to keep going. And today it was all of that.
All right, well, that's the point you guys get in Soccer City Cup, and good luck the rest of the season.
All right, thank you.
All right, and so thank you, Matt, for that interview. When we come back, we'll revisit the Soccer City Cup standings, and we'll catch you on the other side of the break.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? Open up a world of possibilities when you sell your home and make those dreams real. At ColdwellBanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home, compare cost of living city by city, and learn more about our revolutionary seller's assurance program. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams. At ColdwellBanker.com.
Who's up for some football?
That's not football. This is football.
And Eddie, there's one thing that we all can agree on. That's it. North Georgia is the home for new and pre-owned vehicles. And don't forget accessories, parts, service, and collision needs.
Claro que sí se puede. Come see us.
Hey, that's our part.
Why should you choose OptiLink Internet?
I chose OptiLink because of the great local service.
We know computers, and OptiLink knows internet with high-speed symmetrical uploads and downloads.
My customers depend on me for safety and security, and I need fast and dependable internet. That's why I chose OptiLink.
Some people say you can't have fast internet. I say, oh yes you can with OptiLink.
Experience the difference. Call today, 706-529-1313.
I'm Waylon. I live in Dalton, and I'm the owner of Elite Lineman Training Institute.
And I'm Mitch Sanford with Bitwell Bank.
When I left Georgia Power to start my own business, I met with Mitch and told him what we were doing.
I told Waylon, you're the kind of business we want to work with.
We have a very high standard for how we work as a company and especially how we treat our clients. After a very candid conversation with Mitch, we knew we were on the same page.
Today, we're working on several businesses, training and real estate.
Because they do the heavy lifting, so I can focus on my business. My bank is built well.
And welcome back to Monday Night Football. We cut the segment short because we had multiple interviews, but let's go ahead and roll into those Soccer City Cup standings on the boys' side. So there,
Northwest improves their position.
They are on top with 4 points. Southeast is with 3. Dalton is down there with 1 point due to the tie. It's a little bit of role reversal because the Catamounts on the boys' side have been number 1 since the inception of this, going on for 2 years. So,
well, I mean, they do have a game in hand on Northwest and Southeast. They will play Coahulla next week, so we'll see how that plays out. Coahulla gets a chance to play spoiler for Dalton, and then it's all to play for Dalton, Southeast, and Northwest boys. You know, we were talking about the Northwest Dalton game, and really Northwest had some chances early in that game, and they missed them.
They had a breakaway. Tapia had a breakaway.
Yep. And I
think if he would have made that breakaway, it would have put some pressure. They had the post.
Yep.
They rattled the post on one.
I really thought when Northwest missed those early chances, I really thought that was it for them, because I figured, you know, you don't capitalize on your chances, Dalton's going to punish you, and they're going to punish you hard. But to be fair, they stuck in there. They got one in, and then Dalton goes up 2-1 on them, and then they came back again. So just good perseverance for Northwest, and you know, for Dalton. I mean, it just turned into like a very physical game, and I thought 2-2 was a fair draw, a fair result.
It was. Now I will say this: spoiler, we got to see Dalton play Friday night at TDA, at Dalton Stadium at TDA. And boy, oh boy, doesn't a wide field make a big difference for those Catamounts? They're able to think about, you know, Northwest, they can stay more compact on a narrow field. With not
easier to pinch in the corners.
Yes, where if you open them wider, wider field, it opens it up more. You saw that, how it happened. So I think maybe, you know, they need to look at stretching Harmon Field out or moving the games. I'm just saying, I think the boys play aesthetically, and they play a whole lot better on a wider field. They just more in flow of it. I think that game I saw way more possession instead of the ball just going out of bounds, but that's just my preference. But we were able, let's just go ahead. Let's go. We got Creek, your alma mater. No, not your alma mater. But
no, it's not. I don't think it's the school closest to my house. That's what it is.
But, you know, they had multiple games. They both, I mean, shoot, they played Ridgeland, and they scored 20 combined goals and only allowed 3.
Yeah. Yeah, the Creek girls, they really did a number on Ridgeland. You had Lily Johnson. She ended up with 4 goals in that game, had herself just a really nice game, just developing into it. She's a sophomore, really turned into a nice player. She's one of those players who can...
and if I'm not mistaken, her mother went to school with your wife.
She did, yes.
And they were cheerleaders together, right? Yes, Jennifer Smith there, now Johnson, former Southeast alum, cheerleader with Todd's wife.
That is how it went down. So, but, you know, Lily's turned into a player that, Coach Coley can depend on. She can score, she can assist, and, you know, he needs players like that. And then, you know, he's got Brito, still a junior, that can put the goals in. And they filled the back of the net for that game. And we caught up with Lily Johnson after the game and had this interview.
Hey, this is Todd from Monday Night Football. I am here at the Corral at Coahulla Creek. The Coahulla Creek girls just went out 9-1 winners tonight, and I'm joined by Lily Johnson, who had 4 of those goals. Lily, big night for you with 4 goals. What's it like having 4 goals, and did any one of the goals stand out to you?
Probably the last one that tapped in. Like, I don't know, it's just different. It just stood out, and like from a good assist across, we struggle with like getting the ball in, like finishing, and I feel like that was a good example for that.
And with this win, you guys moved to 500 on the year, like 4-4. I know like you guys have had some losses, but what's the mentality right now of the team?
We just got to keep going, or we can't give up. And if we get down, we have to keep going.
And I guess moving forward in the season, like what are you guys like looking to do from this point on? Like as far as like region and that sort of thing, you guys got your eyes set on state?
Yes, we do. We're going to win it this year.
Yeah, you're going to go make a big run?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thank
you. And good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And that was an interview that Todd was able to get with Lily Johnson.
You know what? Because that's what I do. I get the interviews.
He
All right.
does.
Does he get interviews? You see him interviewing people?
I'm too busy eating
You
tacos.
see Chio interviewing people? No.
I'm too busy eating tacos, man. But hey, look, the boys came in. They go in and beat Ridgeland 11-2. Yeah.
So here's the thing about that game. Ridgeland went up 1-0 in that game, and honestly, Creek came out a little sluggish. For me, they were sluggish, and they were getting a lot of shots on target, on the goal, but nothing was going in. And you start to creep in my mind like, hey, is this going to be one of those nights where it's only going to take 1 or 2 goals for Ridgeland, and that might win it? Because, man, Creek had the opportunities. They just were not scoring. So they go in halftime, and, I think they're down like 2-1 or up 2-1. I can't really remember. But, yeah, and then they come out in the second half, and they just start blasting goals in and end up scoring like 5 goals very quickly. Cruz Barcenas had, I think, 4 goals in that game, or maybe 5.
And he mentioned Cruz, so let's go ahead and run into that interview. This is a minute 20.
Hey, this is Todd with Monday Night Football. I'm here at Gullah Creek. Creek just beat Ridgeland. I believe the final score was 11-2, and I'm joined by Cruz Barcenas, who had 5 goals tonight. But before you got your 5 goals, Cruz, going into halftime, you guys were only up 2-1. It looked like you guys were a little bit snake bit tonight in front of the goal. Were you worried at all about it?
Yeah, I was, because we kept shooting, and I just kept being frustrated, and it wasn't our night. But my teammates picked me up, especially Miguel.
Yeah.
And we just went out there and scored. I scored, and we just went out there and scored.
So what did Coach Jacobo say to you guys at halftime that kind of changed the mentality? Because you guys came out like in the second half and just started ringing up the goals.
They were just telling me to pick it up because I was stressed out because it was barely 2-1. The goals wouldn't go in, and they were just telling me to pick it up. And I did it for Miguel his last year, so.
Yeah. And there was a really nice give-and go you guys had. I believe it was maybe Miguel that played a little 1-2 over the top too. Came off really nice. Do you guys have a good understanding? Like, did he know you were going to cut back in?
Yeah, it's because even places we were little, and we just know each other like better.
All right, so congratulations. You guys move on. Like, you got early in the season, your only 2 losses to Southeast and Northwest, and you guys look like you've turned up the pressure now. So good luck the rest of the season, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, big thanks to The Truth for giving us that interview. And we're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
We provide an excellent service for individuals who've had catastrophic injury cases, people who've had injuries that are going to last them, unfortunately, for the rest of their life. Being there for a person, being there to actually see them get better, that is what this field is all about. That's what we're really striving to do, and that's what we think we provide. You still have to have that empathy for the person so you can tell their story to the jury. At the end of the day, that's where your case is heard.
Has a recent storm damaged the roof of your home? Altman Roofing has been restoring homes since 1984. In Dalton alone, over 2,000 roofs have been replaced by Altman. Altman Roofing will also work with your insurance claim. For a free 15-minute estimate for roofing, siding, or gutters, call 706-529-8136 or visit altmanroofing.com. You can also see their professional work on Facebook.
Thank you.
Thank you, North Georgia.
Gracias, North Georgia.
We appreciate you, North Georgia.
I'm C-Mark. I'm John Moore. Like the Georgia Bulldogs, we're number 1.
Thank you, North Georgia, for voting us number 1 6 years in a row.
If you're hurt and want the best,
give us a call. We'll do the rest.
And welcome back to Monday Night Football. Thank you for Todd for procuring those interviews with Lily Johnson and Cruz Barsenias. Now we want to go straight into the OptiLink scoreboard again. Just give you a quick overview of the games. On the boys' side, we had Dalton Academy 3-1 win over Darlington. Calhoun 7-0 over Lafayette. Christian Heritage losing to Atlanta Classical 3-2. The tie between Dalton Northwest. Southeast beating Cass 2-0. Murray County losing to Fannin County 2-1. Dalton Academy with a 10-0 win over Temple. Dalton with a 4-0 win over Calhoun. And then Northwest getting blanked by River Ridge 5-0.
Now on the girls' side, Dalton Academy forfeiting to Darlington, same North Murray to Cedartown. Christian Heritage drops one to Atlanta Classical 3-1. Color Creek 10-0 winners over Lafayette. Dalton dropping to Northwest on the girls' side. We talked about that game. Murray County loses to Fannin County 3-1. Dalton Academy 10-0 over, I think, loses 10-0 to Temple.
Loses, yep.
Yeah. And then Coahulla Creek 9-1 over Ridgeland. Dalton 4-0 over Calhoun. And Northwest drops a touchdown and an extra point to Ridgeland.
So really, let's just look. Southeast got back on the winning ways. They were on a 4-game lose streak. Now they've won 3 in a row. Their Friday game got pushed because the team didn't want to travel because they thought it would be rained out. Obviously, you saw Friday night was beautiful. I think it was
rained out. I mean, they play on a turf field.
Well, it was the team from Atlanta didn't want to come up here to play them. So I'm thinking Murray County is coming around a little bit more. TDA is doing TDA things on the boys' side. The girls are still trying to break through. Northwest boys they're like a roller coaster. They win one, they lose one. They're just draw one. Losing Friday night.
They're going for a balanced record.
The girls, I think, to be honest, I think that was probably the worst defeat probably since the semifinals a couple years ago when they played Marist, I think. They haven't had a 7-0 defeat
that's
in
a tough
a while. But what do you think so far?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I hadn't been really surprised by anybody. The Northwest Dalton game I was a little bit surprised by last week, to say the least. That's the first time those two teams have drawn in their history. So that was a bit of a shocker. Didn't have that on my bingo card. And the girls, I think the cream's going to start rising to the top. I mean, we got some big games coming up this week. You want to go ahead and go to the schedule?
Let's go ahead and go to this week's schedule. I mean, top it off, we have actually right now, we have Dalton versus Coahulla Creek playing today. Currently, Dalton is up 5-0 at half.
Important to note, this is just the girls, and this does not count towards Soccer City Cup. That game happens next week, actually.
But then we have, you have Christian Heritage at Lakeview, Northwest at Sonoraville, Dalton County versus Coahulla Creek. That's a big game tomorrow. Murray County versus Model, Dalton versus Cass. Southeast going into region play versus Cedartown, North Murray versus Rockmart. And then you got Southeast, another region game on Friday, and then Coahulla Creek playing Cass.
Yeah, we're in that region part of most people's schedule.
Then Christian Heritage playing Manchester, North Murray versus Gordon Central, Murray County versus Rockmart, Dalton Academy going to play Gilmer County, or playing Gilmer County at home, Northwest going down to Cedartown, so Cedartown's going to get both Dalton area teams.
Yep.
And then a big game Saturday, Dalton boys versus McIntosh.
Okay, so I'll come back to that. On the girls' side, Dalton and Creek, that is happening right now. Northwest and Bremen. Keep an eye on that one. Bremen is a stout 3A school. Just ask Coahulla Creek. So it'll be interesting to see how the Northwest girls do in that one. Christian Heritage at LFO. Creek versus. There's probably not going to be a game for Creek tomorrow night because they're playing tonight. Northwest versus Sonoraville. Southeast versus Cedartown. Dalton at Cass. Murray at Model. North Murray versus Rockmart. Creek at Cass on the 7th, Southeast at Heritage on the 8th, Christian Heritage at Manchester, North Murray at Gordon Central, Dalton versus Unity Christian, Murray versus Rockmart, Northwest at Cedartown. So what are we going to go back to? I forgot what I was talking about.
I mean, we can discuss some of the other games in the last segment. I know game-wise.
How much time we got on this segment?
We've got a minute on here.
So, okay, a little bit of a sleeper game for me. I know you brought up the Dalton-McIntosh game. Well, here's a sleeper for you, Dalton-Cass. Dalton has to go to Cass. Cass has only got one loss on the year. They've played...
which was just given to them.
Yeah, so I think that is a little bit of a sleeper game.
Cass has a lot of...
If Dalton is going... If they got to stay focused on that game, it's a region game. It's important. The McIntosh game is going to be a bigger headline on Saturday. They don't need to get distracted. They got to stay focused.
Cass, the reason they've come up, they've tapped into NGSA Calhoun, so there's a lot of players. I think half the players on Cass's team is made up of academy players. So, I mean, that's why they've gotten better in the last few years along with Calhoun. So it'll be interesting. We'll see what happens. But we'll discuss a little bit more in depth the games here. But we're going to go to commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be in our final segment.
My car looks totally ruined. I don't even know what to do.
Locally owned Dalton Collision Center is the only choice when it comes to all of your auto body and refinish needs. Our experienced staff provides quality work from start to finish, will help with your claim, and even assist with getting your rental car. Everything from A to Z.
So you can focus on life, we can focus on getting you there.
We provide an excellent service for individuals who've had catastrophic injury cases. People who've had injuries that are going to last them, unfortunately, for the rest of their life. Being there for a person, being there to actually see them get better, that is what this field is all about. That's what we're really striving to do, and that's what we think we provide. You still have to have that empathy for the person so you can tell their story to the jury. At the end of the day, that's where your case is heard.
This year, Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty is proudly commemorating our 50th anniversary, and what a journey it has been. For 5 decades, Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty has been the heartbeat of real estate in Northwest Georgia.
We've had the privilege of helping thousands of homeowners with their real estate transactions. Thank you, Dalton and Northwest Georgia.
Whether you're buying, selling, or expanding your business, trust the experience that comes with 50 years of excellence. Coldwell Banker Kennard Realty with offices in Dalton, Calhoun, Cartersville, Ringgold, and Cleveland, Tennessee.
And welcome back to Monday Night Football, our final segment. Todd, I see on here you had us talk about Dalton Coahulla Creek. Well, as of right now, sorry, I'm watching the match as we speak. Dalton is about to start second half, and they're up 5-0.
Well, by the time you guys watch this game will be over anyway, and we'll be talking about it next
big
week.
Game, another game, Southeast versus Heritage. So now we're going to see where we are in the pecking order. That's going to be on Thursday.
That's a good one.
On the girl, I'm thinking the boys' game is going to be good too. I mean, Southeast is sort of leveling out. They're on the
No, that's a game Southeast boys should win. This game this class should be interesting on the girls' side.
Yeah,
Southeast boys do not need to make this interesting.
Then you got TDA versus Coahulla Creek. That game,
that's a nice one.
It's going to be a nice one. They're going to play.
I think they're very evenly matched.
The girls' game is going to be. It's going to sway more to Coahulla Creek. TDA girls still getting their footing down and trying to make that program. The boys' game could be a toss-up. To be honest, but the one disadvantage is Creek is used to, or TDA is used to playing on a wide field. They're going to be playing at Creek, which the field's about 14 to 18 yards narrower than what they're used to playing. So they're not, used to an academy likes to spread and get out wide and throw those.
Coahulla Creek will be able to. They'll be able to pressure them. They won't be able to spread the ball all over the field the way they do when TDA is at home. So they'll have to adjust to that. Other than that, I think it's just going to be a slugfest. I can see that game going 3-2 in either direction.
And then you have TDA versus Gilmer is going to be good because it's a common opponent, Gilmer and Murray County. So we can sort of see where TDA or Murray go again.
And once again, I kind of got that one for TDA being kind of a sleeper game, right? Because the headliner is Coahulla Creek, and then you got to turn around, you got to play Gilmer, and that's kind of the more important game for them. I'm sorry, that's not I thought that was a region game, but that's going to be a game that they should win. But the question is, are they going to be so distracted by Creek that they overlook it?
And then, as you mentioned, Dalton's playing Cass at Cass. Could be a sleeper game for Dalton. It just depends how they come. Are they mentally ready for that game, knowing that they got a big matchup at the end of the week versus McIntosh? Now, the Dalton-McIntosh game will be airing on NFHS on Saturday. I'll be at a cabin, and the people that I'm going with, former ex-coaches. They say we're going to be watching
I'll
it on the
probably
big
be at work.
screen. So I think Dalton, I don't know. It depends what they traveled to McIntosh last year, so this year it will be here, meaning a narrow field. We know what beat Dalton last year was those long throw-ins, so I don't know if that's going to play in this.
Hey, Dalton, they got revenge for the Johnson loss. Let's see what happens this week when McIntosh comes to town.
But we just know that it's going to be a great game, so hopefully y'all look at it. But with that, we're recapping our show, and we hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Coach Saif Al-Safir, and we'll see y'all next week.
If you could live anywhere, where would it be? And what would it be like? Open up a world of possibilities when you sell your home and make those dreams real. At ColdwellBanker.com, you can get an instant estimate on your home, compare cost of living city by city, and learn more about our revolutionary seller's assurance program. So it really is true. Your dreams don't have to be just dreams. At ColdwellBanker.com.
Who's up for some football?
That's not football. This is football.
And Eddie, there's one thing that we all can agree on. That's it. North Georgia is the home for new and pre-owned vehicles. And don't forget accessories, parts, service, and collision needs.
Claro que sí se puede. Come see us.
Hey, that's our part.
Why should you choose OptiLink Internet?
I chose OptiLink because of the great local service.
We know computers, and OptiLink knows internet with high-speed symmetrical uploads and downloads.
My customers depend on me for safety and security, and I need fast and dependable internet. That's why I chose OptiLink.
Some people say you can't have fast internet. I say, oh yes you can with OptiLink.
Experience the difference. Call today, 706-529-1313.
I'm Waylon. I live in Dalton, and I'm the owner of Elite Lineman Training Institute.
And I'm Mitch Sanford with Bitwell Bank.
When I left Georgia Power to start my own business, I met with Mitch and told him what we were doing.
I told Waylon, you're the kind of business we want to work with.
We have a very high standard for how we work as a company and especially how we treat our clients. After a very candid conversation with Mitch, we knew we were on the same page.
Today, we're working on several businesses, training and real estate.
Because they do the heavy lifting, so I can focus on my business. My bank is built well.
Two of the nicest guys in the car business.
Hey, it's Eddie and Greg here from North Georgia Toyota. It's our big midwinter sales event. And our new car and truck inventory is steadily increasing. So shop now while selection is at its best. Greg, other dealers are gonna say, we can't do that. What do we say?
We say, oh yes we can.
And that's only at North Georgia Toyota in Dalton. Come see us.
Why should you choose OptiLink Internet?
When I work from home, I need fast, reliable internet. OptiLink provides that with no hidden fees.
Our customers depend on us for great service and quality.
And that's why we chose OptiLink Internet.
As we serve the needs of our clients, we need reliable internet service. That's why I chose OptiLink as my hometown provider.
Some people say you can't get fast internet. I say, oh yes you can with OptiLink.
Experience the difference. Call today.
I'm Purvi, live in Dalton, Georgia with Dos First Fresh Mexican Grill.
And I'm Rusty with Biltwell Bank.
My husband and I are business owners, and we have known Rusty for 15 years now.
Yes, we've done a lot of projects together.
That's right. And we need banking partners that understand our small business need.
We understand you can have a great idea, but you need financing.
Everyone at the bank knows my name, which I love. For my personal and business needs, my bank is built well.